a new Ram over there, and it's puking coolant everywhere, so that one will be next.
Oh yeah, buy a $107,000 truck, they said.
Why is nobody talking about the dirty truth behind electric vehicle?
Don't get a car.
A brand new truck is supposed to last you 15 years. These 12 are getting handed back in 15 months. Across America, owners are walking into dealerships and demanding the manufacturer take these pickups back because they got recalled, discontinued, or flat out broke before the loan was half paid off. And here's the part that should scare you. The dealers already know. They are quietly refusing these same trucks on trade because they know exactly what is coming. I am going to walk you through all 12, show you exactly why each one is getting handed back and why the dealers saw it coming before you ever did. Make sure you subscribe, because I started this channel for one reason, to share what dealerships and car makers don't want you to hear. With your support, I can keep making these videos. Now let's get into it. Number 12, the Ford Maverick. A young couple just outside Boise, Idaho, ordered one because it was supposed to be the last honest, affordable new truck in America, right around $30,000. It was the first brand new vehicle either of them had ever bought. They waited almost a year for the factory to actually build it. And then, right after they finally took delivery, the recall letters started showing up in the mailbox. Ford recalled more than 400,000 Mavericks because a trailer wiring fault could kill the brake lights and turn signals while you were towing. That came on top of a separate recall over an airbag panel that was not bonded on correctly. 2 safety recalls on a truck they had barely broken in. When they called the Ford dealer in the Boise area and asked about simply giving it back, the answer was a soft no. Sure, they could unload it, but only by eating thousands of dollars in taxes, fees, and instant depreciation the moment they tried. And that is what makes this one sting. The Maverick is not a bad little truck. It was the one affordable option regular people had left, and Ford still managed to ship it with problems that had families scared to hook up a trailer. When the cheapest new truck in the country is getting recalled before the license plates even arrive, that tells you exactly where this whole industry is heading. And believe me, it gets worse from here. Because the next truck was supposed to be the single most reliable name in the game. Number 11, the Toyota Tacoma. For decades, this was the truck you bought when you wanted to drive it for 20 years and then hand it down to your kid. A retired Forest Service worker up in Flagstaff, Arizona, bought the newest Tacoma for that exact reason. He was done buying vehicles. This was going to be his last one. Then the recalls started stacking up, one after another. Toyota recalled around 342,000 Tacomas over seatbelts that could stop working in a crash. It pulled back hundreds of thousands more over a rear brake problem that could leak brake fluid. And on some of the newest four-wheel drive models, Toyota warned that a part deep in the drivetrain could break and let the truck roll away while the shifter was sitting in park. Sit with that for a second. A brand new Toyota that might not stay put in your own driveway. After the third trip to the Toyota dealer in northern Arizona, he stopped trusting it entirely and started looking into what it would take to make Toyota buy it back under the state lemon law. That is where the most bulletproof truck in America ended up, in a lawyer's office. Now, the Tacoma still holds its value better than almost anything else on this list, and it will probably be fine in the long run. But when even Toyota is stacking recall on top of recall on its most trusted truck, the days of just buying one and never thinking about it again are gone. And at least the Tacoma still has a future. The next truck on this list does not. Number 10, the Nissan Titan. If you own one, I am sorry, because you already feel this. A landscaper in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who ran a small mowing business on the side, bought his Titan brand new because he had been a Nissan guy his whole life and wanted an American-built V8 to pull his trailer. What the salesman did not exactly volunteer was that Nissan had already decided to kill the truck. The Titan was discontinued after the 2024 model year, quietly put out to pasture. And the numbers tell you why nobody fought to save it. Nissan sold only about 19,000 Titans in an entire year, while Ford moves that many F-Series trucks in a matter of days. So when this guy went to the Nissan dealer in eastern Oklahoma to see what his barely used Titan was worth, the offer was brutal, and the reason was simple. He was driving a truck from a lineup that no longer exists. There is no next year model, no successor, no reason for any buyer to go looking for one. When a manufacturer discontinues your truck and walks away, every dealer in the country instantly sees it as an orphan, and they price it like one. He did nothing wrong. He bought American, he bought loyal, and the company repaid him by discontinuing the truck right under him. But being orphaned is one thing. The next truck will actively fight you every time you try to use it for what a truck is for. Number 9, the Ford F-150. Yes, the best-selling vehicle in America for almost half a century is on this list, and here is why. A drywall contractor near Fort Wayne, Indiana, bought a new F-150 to do what he does every single day, tow a loaded trailer to job sites. Then Ford dropped one of the largest recalls in the company's history. More than 2 million F-150 trucks were recalled because a trailer wiring fault could cut out the brake lights and turn signals on whatever you were towing. Think about what that means for a guy who tows for a living. You are on the highway with a full trailer, and the truck can silently stop telling the cars behind you that you are braking or turning. He parked it. He could not risk running his business and his liability on a truck under an active safety recall for exactly the thing he needed it to do. He asked the Ford dealer in northern Indiana about handing it back and getting into something he could actually trust. The answer, like always, cost him thousands. The F-150 is a genuinely great truck. I am not going to pretend otherwise. But when the single most popular vehicle in the country gets recalled by the millions for a towing failure, and the working guy who bought it to tow has to park it, something is deeply broken in how these trucks are being rushed out the door. And the heavy-duty version of this exact problem is even scarier. Number 8. The Ford Superduty. A cattle rancher out in the Texas Panhandle, near Amarillo, runs a Superduty because out there, the truck is not a toy, it is the whole operation. It hauls hay, tows stock trailers full of live animals, and covers 100 miles of open road between towns. He bought a new one, and then that same trailer wiring recall swept up more than 1 million Superduty trucks right alongside the F-150. Now picture that failure with a trailer full of cattle behind you on a 2-lane road at dusk, and your brake lights and signals just quietly go dark. That is not an inconvenience. That is how people get killed. He would not put his family, his herd, or the drivers behind him at that kind of risk, so he pulled it off the road and went back to the Ford dealer outside Amarillo, asking them to take it back. And here is the part that should make you angry. A truck he spent $70,000+ on, a truck marketed on being the toughest, most capable machine Ford builds, sidelined because the basic wiring that keeps everybody behind you safe was not right. Out there, a truck you cannot trust is not a truck. It is a very expensive paperweight sitting next to the barn. And at least these Ford problems are fixable with a recall. The next 3 trucks have problems money and software cannot patch. Number 7. The Ram 1500, a traveling electrician who works jobs all over eastern Washington, based out of Spokane, bought a new Ram because he practically lives in his truck. Then one morning, the entire gauge cluster just went black. No speedometer, no fuel gauge, no warning lights, nothing. Ram had to recall around 65,000 trucks because a software fault could blank out the whole instrument panel while you were driving. On top of that, owners of the newest trucks with Ram's new twin-turbo 6-cylinder engine started reporting misfires and check engine lights almost out of the gate. Here is the tell though. Ram is so aware the new engine spooked buyers that they are literally bringing the old Hemi V8 back for 2026 just to win people back. Let me say what that really means. A car maker does not resurrect the engine it just killed unless it knows it made a mistake big enough to scare off its own customers. Meanwhile, Ram is sitting on more than 130 days of unsold inventory when a healthy number is around 76, and they are discounting new trucks so hard that this guy's barely used Ram is worth almost nothing against the deals on the lot. He ended up filing for a lemon law buyback after the 3rd dealer visit. Honestly, when a brand has to undiscontinue an engine to apologize to its own buyers, that is not a lineup, that is damage control, and it is about to get a lot more expensive because the next 4 trucks are all electric, and this is where the real money vanishes. Number 6. The Rivian R1T. A software engineer in Asheville, North Carolina, was exactly the kind of buyer Rivian dreams about. Early adopter, believed in the mission, paid a premium to be first. He bought the electric R1T for around $80,000. 2 problems hit him at once. First, the recalls. Rivian recalled over 17,000 trucks because the headlights could fail to come on in cold weather, and issued another recall over seatbelt bolts that might not have been tightened correctly. Second, and worse, there was almost nowhere to get it fixed. The nearest real Rivian service center was hours away, in Atlanta, so when something went wrong, his $80,000 truck sat for weeks waiting on parts and an appointment. And the whole time, the value was falling off a cliff. The earliest R1T trucks have already lost roughly half their value in just 3 years. Half. So he asked Rivian to buy it back, because between the recalls and the service desert, he could not count on it. And this is the trap nobody warns you about with these EV trucks. The technology can be genuinely impressive, but if the company behind it does not have the service network to keep it running, you are not an owner. You are a beta tester who paid full price. And that gap between the promise and the support is exactly where your money disappears. But Rivian is a young company still finding its feet. The next one came from a giant that should have known better. Number 5. The GMC Hummer EV. This is the one that proves a truck can be a marvel of engineering and a financial disaster at the same time. A small business owner in the Scottsdale, Arizona area bought the electric Hummer as a statement, a rolling billboard for the company he had built, well over $100,000 of chrome and torque. It is a genuinely wild machine. It is also 9,000 pounds of a truck whose value is falling through the floor. The Hummer EV has been one of the fastest depreciating vehicles in the entire country, and it has already been recalled more than once. When he went to unload it, the numbers were so ugly he could not believe a truck this expensive could be worth so little so fast. The used lots were already sitting on Hummer EVs nobody wanted, marked down by tens of thousands, and still not moving. So he started looking at a lemon law claim just to climb out from under it. Think about the whiplash here. You spend 6 figures on the most talked about truck GM builds, and 2 years later, it is a punchline that no one will pay real money for. That is not bad luck. That is a company chasing a flashy headline instead of building something people could actually live with and resell. And if you think a 6-figure toy losing its value is bad, wait until you hear about the guys who paid for a truck that was never even built. From here on, this list stops being about recalls you can technically live with. These last 4 trucks are about something worse. They are about car makers taking your money, or your trust, and then walking away completely. Number 4. The Ram 1500 Rev. A welder in the Denver, Colorado area did everything right. When Ram announced its electric truck, he put down a reservation and got in line early because he wanted to be ready for what the industry kept promising was the future. And then he waited and waited. Ram delayed the electric truck once, then again, then pushed it back years. He passed on other trucks the whole time, holding out for the one he had reserved. Then, after all of it, Stellantis simply canceled the electric Ram 1500 outright, killed the project. His reservation was refunded, and that was that. He did not return a truck. The truck was returned to him as a check and an apology after 2 years of his life spent waiting on a promise the company never intended to keep. That is the cruelest kind of return there is. Not a lemon, not a recall, just a giant automaker dangling the future in front of a working guy, taking his commitment for 2 years, and then quietly admitting they were never going to deliver. He could have bought something reliable in that whole window. Instead, he got a refund and a lesson. And the lesson is this. When these companies chase government mandates instead of building what people actually ask for, it is always the regular buyer left standing in the parking lot with nothing. But a canceled truck at least gives your money back. The next one took the money and left people stranded. Number 3. The Toyota Tundra. And if the Tacoma earlier made you nervous, this one is going to hurt, because the Tundra is supposed to be the unkillable one. A plumber in Bozeman, Montana bought a new Tundra to run his business, because a Toyota was supposed to be the one thing he never had to worry about. Then the news broke. Toyota discovered that its newest twin-turbo V6 truck engine could have metal machining debris left inside it from the factory, the kind of thing that can choke off the oil and blow the engine completely. This was not a tiny batch. Toyota moved to replace the engines in more than 100,000 trucks, and then extended it to another 126,000 vehicles. A brand new engine, in a brand new truck, yanked out and replaced. And owners are so unconvinced the fix is enough that there is now a class action lawsuit arguing the repair does not go far enough. This guy did not want a replaced engine on the truck he depends on for his livelihood. He wanted out, so he pursued a lemon law buyback. Let me be straight with you. Toyota earned its reputation over 40 years of trucks that just would not die. And they put that entire reputation at risk by rushing a complicated new engine out the door before it was ready. When the most reliable name in trucks is pulling engines out of 6-figure counts of pickups, no badge on the hood is a guarantee anymore. But the last 2 trucks were not just built wrong. They were abandoned by the very companies that sold them to you. Number 2. The Ford F-150 Lightning. A solar installer in Grand Rapids, Michigan bought the electric F-150 on principle. He works in clean energy, he believed in it, and he wanted to put his money where his mouth was. He paid a premium to drive the future. Then the future got canceled. Ford was losing staggering money on every electric vehicle it sold, at one point around $44,000 on each one, and still losing over $20,000 per truck even after cost-cutting. So last autumn, Ford pulled the plug on the electric Lightning entirely. Today there are only around 400 to 500 new ones left on lots in the whole country. Picture what that does to the guy who already owns one. Overnight, his truck became an orphan from a discontinued line, its value cratering, its resale poisoned by the fact that the company that built it just publicly gave up on it. He went to the Ford dealer in Western Michigan to see about getting out, and got the same gut punch everyone on this list gets. He bought into a vision, in good faith, and the manufacturer walked away and left him holding a truck nobody wants to buy used. He did not do anything wrong. He trusted a Ford. And that trust is exactly what these companies keep cashing in and never paying back. But even an abandoned truck is not the worst thing on this list. The #1 truck combines every nightmare you have heard so far into one stainless steel disaster. Number 1. The Tesla Cybertruck. A guy in the Sacramento, California area waited years for this thing. He put his name down long ago when it was going to change everything and paid a small fortune when it finally arrived. Then reality showed up. Tesla recalled more than 46,000 Cybertrucks, which is very nearly every single one they had ever built, because an exterior steel panel could literally peel off and fly away from the truck while driving, turning into a hazard for everyone behind it. That came after an earlier recall over an accelerator pedal that could get stuck. On top of that, Tesla had built so many Cybertrucks that nobody wanted that close to 10,000 of them were piling up unsold, some of them parked in the lots of dead shopping malls. The resale value collapsed so fast that owners trying to sell watched the number drop by the week. When this guy contacted a Tesla service center in the Bay Area about his options, he found himself in the worst spot on this entire list. A truck losing value faster than he could pay it down, recalled for panels flying off, and worth a fraction of what he owed. And this is what ties the whole list together. The Cybertruck is not some freak exception. It is just the loudest example of the same disease. Every one of these companies got so obsessed with hype, or mandates, or beating each other to a headline that they forgot the person actually writing the check. I want to be straight with you about what all 12 of these trucks really have in common. It is not bad steel, and it is not bad welders on the line. It is that the companies who built these trucks stopped caring what happens to you the second you drive off the lot. They overproduced electric trucks nobody ordered. They discontinued reliable trucks people counted on. They rushed unfinished engines and unfinished technology into your driveway and let you be the crash test dummy. And every single time the bill comes due, it never lands on the executive who signed off on it. It lands on the welder in Denver who waited 2 years for nothing, the rancher outside Amarillo who cannot trust his own brakes, and the plumber and Bozeman staring at a brand new engine that never should have failed. These are not bad trucks. They are trucks that got abandoned by the people who built them. And if yours is on this list, the clock is already ticking. Which of these 12 trucks shocked you the most? Drop a comment and tell me which one you think loses the most value before the end of this year. And if this video saved you from driving one of these off a lot, hit that like button so it reaches somebody else before they sign the paperwork.